What if I told you there was a simple way for you to plan to achieve your goals? I see you scrolling on Pinterest and TikTok for inspiration, wanting to completely rebrand yourself for 2026. You want to finally get over your phone addiction, start new hobbies you've been putting off, and start working towards your professional and academic goals. Today, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can plan your 2026 to stop procrastinating and finally achieve your goals, because you deserve to give yourself the life you dream of. If you don't know me, I'm Ava and I'm a recent law graduate. Don't forget to subscribe for more Type A style videos to help you become the highest version of yourself in 2026. I'm going to share with you exactly how you can plan for success. And when I say plan for success, I mean how you can set yourself goals that you want to achieve this year, break them down into manageable tasks that you can complete on a daily, weekly basis. And so you might be surprised when I say to you not to set any yearly goals. The reason why I don't think that planning for success means setting yearly goals is because life events can happen, things can change, your priorities change. For example, you might get a different job than the one you were originally chasing, you might end up at a different university. Instead, this video focuses on how to set different daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly goals, and then how to review these goals on an annual basis. This means that you actually hold yourself accountable on a regular basis and have the opportunity to check in with yourself and on your progress and make amendments accordingly. But the first step to working towards your goals is actually deciding what is most important to you and what you want to prioritize this year. So I'm going to set an activity for you to complete. I want you to find a blank piece of paper or somewhere in your journal, and I want you to draw yourself, just a stick man or something that represents yourself. And I want you to draw off of that character and write down the values that are the most important to you, whether that's friends, family, or your career, academics, or even working on your hobbies, side hustle, or travel. Anything that's really important to you or that you want to make important. It can be as broad or as specific as possible. Once you've decided on these categories, it can be as many or as few as you want. You can then draw again off of them and be more specific in what this looks like to you. So if one of your values is travel, you could draw off it specific places that you want to visit. If you wrote hobbies, you might write specific things that you want to try, maybe new things, or maybe also picking up old hobbies that you've got out of the habit of regularly doing. And once you've completed this activity, I want you to keep it close to you. Maybe put it in your bedside table or on your desk, somewhere that you'll regularly look at it and see it. And it will help you to visualize your values and your priorities. So now that you've decided what matters the most to you, I'm going to help you to actually implement that and make those goals happen. To plan for success, there are daily habits that you can be working towards to help you achieve your overall goals. The main purpose of daily goals is to give you purpose, which is especially helpful in the cold, dark winter months. These daily healthy habits that you complete each day work towards your overall goals because you're looking after yourself on a day-to-day basis. You're helping to keep yourself motivated so that you can work towards those broader goals. So I'm sure that you've heard of healthy habits, and I want you to try to implement 1 to 2 healthy habits each day. And these can be anything, making sure you drink enough water, to even challenge yourself to pick up different daily habits like doing some form of movement every day, even if that's just doing 10 squats in your bedroom or going on a daily walk. Obviously, if you're going to aim to do something every day, it should be manageable, but completing them help you feel motivated. On a daily basis, you should also try to make mundane tasks more enjoyable. For example, if you're sitting here thinking, I work a 9 to 5, how can I make my 9 to 5 more enjoyable? Well, if you commute to work, then just simply listen to a podcast or audiobook on your way to work can make it so much more enjoyable, especially if you're just sat on the train. Also, whilst you're working or studying, you can try listening to affirmations, frequencies, or just listening to one of your favourite albums, and you just add a bit more whimsy to your life. You could also implement different kinds of treats on a daily basis as well. For example, if you get a certain amount of studying done, you could treat yourself to your favourite meal that evening or watch your favourite show. And by implementing these different healthy habits and just trying to make each day more enjoyable, so they don't directly work towards your goals, they just generally make you feel more positive and more motivated. And when you do things that you enjoy, you generally feel like you have more energy, which you can put into achieving your goals that you've set. So I want to give you another activity. Think of 2 to 3 daily habits that you want to try to implement that you haven't before, whether that's drinking a specific amount of water in one day, or going on a daily walk, or even things like reading instead of scrolling on social media. Just anything that you want to try to challenge yourself, maybe swap out a previous bad habit for a good one. One of my favourite things in the new year has actually been swapping out scrolling on TikTok for reading instead, and I found that I've already read so much more in the past week than I have in the past month. So simple things like that can really help you feel motivated. Now, on a weekly basis, the main purpose of weekly goals is to give you some sort of motivation to get through the week and help you maintain your discipline when having something to look forward to. I recently did a video on discipline, and specifically the difference between motivation and discipline, and I'm going to share with you more specifically how setting yourself weekly goals can help you retain your discipline. So in your diary, when you're looking at your weekly overview, I want you to set yourself a challenge of giving yourself 3 main things that you want to achieve in that week. Even categorize them. For example, you could choose 1 hobby activity that you want to complete, 1 social activity, and 1 self-care activity, and you can distribute them however you want. You could do them all in one day, on weeknights, whatever fits into your schedule. And this means that, for example, if one of your values is spending spending more time with friends. That on a weekly basis, you're actively trying to work towards that. Even if it's a FaceTime with a friend or sending them voice notes updating them on your week, you're working on your overall goal of trying to spend more time with friends. Likewise, if one of your goals is to spend more time on your hobbies or try new things, you could book yourself in for a new class that you've never tried before, like a new yoga class or Pilates. Or instead of watching TV on an evening, you could try to teach yourself how to knit or do crochet, if you have the patience for that. It means when the week seems mundane and if you're working or studying, you have something new and exciting to look forward to. And by giving yourself the goal of doing one of each category each week, it means that you're regularly working towards those goals. Now, this might seem really boring, but I would also want you to put some sort of chore on your weekly goals. It's so hard to work towards your goals when you have something that's dragging you down or something in the back of your mind. So I would say to try to get one chore done per week that you've been putting off. And it can be something as simple as clearing through all of your emails from all your subscriptions that you just haven't deleted in months. You could do this on your commute to work if you just sit on a train. You could just swipe through all of those emails if you have about 10,000 just stacked up. Another example of a chore could be to finally tidy your room if you need to reorganise it, declutter your space, or things like finally reorganising your wardrobe and donating things to charity or uploading them to Vinted if you've been putting it off for a while. Decluttering your environment is a great way to feel energised when you're not constantly surrounded by a mess. So on a weekly basis, try to get through those chores that you've been putting off slowly. Don't try to do it all in one weekend, spread it out to conserve your energy. This means that on a monthly basis, the main purpose of monthly goals that I want you to try to implement is to have a theme for each month. And by this, I mean pick something that you want to focus on more in a specific month. The benefit of picking a theme for a type of value or goal that you want to work on in a specific month means that it's completely dependent on you, meaning the time of the year, whether you study or work, the weather. So if you want to travel, for example, obviously the best month to do that, depending on where you're going, could be sometime in the summer or in the winter. If you want to focus on getting high grades, that would make sense to do that during a month when you have exam season. It means that you spend less energy trying to juggle loads of different priorities and focus on one specific theme for a month. So when you're planning for your months, you could use the first of the month to review the previous month and your progression. You can hold yourself accountable by seeing if you did complete those chores that you were putting off, or if you did manage to do one social and hobby activity every week. And reflection is so important to see what's working for you and what isn't. If the previous month hasn't worked out for you when goal setting, for example, if you kept putting off certain tasks, you can try to understand why, whether there's something that's getting in the way. You should also try to celebrate your wins. For example, you could make some sort of tracker spreadsheet or a to-do list of things that you want to try, and you can tick them off for everything that you do. And this way you can see your progress. I'll go back to the travel example. If you really want to use this year to go on a trip, even simple tasks like doing research on where you want to go and where you want to stay and figuring out how you're going to fund it, all those are tasks that contribute to the greater goal of travelling. I hate to use the word quarterly, but I do think that quarterly goals are massively overlooked. So for the purpose of this video, I think that the main purpose of quarterly goals are to consider the direction that your year is going in. 3 months is a considerable amount of time to start making progress on your goals, and it's a great time to start reflecting on whether or not you're going in the direction you want to be going in and your progress. And this is the time where you can get back out your mind map that you made earlier, and at this point you can start to maybe highlight or circle things that you've been prioritising, or maybe other things that are lacking. And it's also a great point to see whether your values now still align with what you wrote on that piece of paper. For example, you might have written that you want to focus on your academics. However, if you just completed your A-levels and have decided to go on a gap year since you wrote that mind map, then obviously you won't be working on academics anymore. Likewise, if you've just graduated and you wanted to focus on career goals, however at the moment you're deciding that you want to take a step back and pursue something different, again, your mind map may not align with how you currently feel. So it's a great way to think about how you've progressed as a person and based on life events that have happened to you in the past 3 months, and realign your priorities based on where your year is going. This is super important, and again, why I don't really believe in setting really strict yearly goals, because like I said, a lot can happen in a few months. Working towards a value is different than working towards a strict goal, like getting a first overall. So every 3 months, I want you to look back on what you've written in your journals or diaries, on your monthly goals, weekly goals, daily habits, and see if you've lacked focus in any specific area. Perhaps some of your daily healthy habits that you wanted to try and do every day, like going for a walk every day, just haven't worked out with your schedule. So perhaps instead of saying going on a daily walk, if the point of that walk is to get some sort of movement, maybe you could do something like 20 squats in your room every morning and evening. So then you're still doing some form of exercise. It just maybe isn't as tedious as forcing yourself to go on a walk every single day. So use quarterly goals to consider the direction your year is going in, the annual review. It seems like such an overwhelming task, especially where the word rebrand is thrown around so much. But it's really a great way to be reflective and think about the previous year, to celebrate your wins and discover what you want to focus on for the next year. And when completing an annual review, I would always say to just be kind to yourself. Focus on your own personal growth. So overall, the main takeaway of this video is to be ambitious. Don't limit yourself based on your own self-doubt. If you have something that's been in the back of your mind for a while, don't be scared to finally write it down and start taking baby steps towards achieving it. Like if you finally want to start a side hustle, even just taking taking the step of doing some basic research into what side hustle you might be interested in starting. That's a great way to make progress into something that you may have always thought was unattainable. So be ambitious and don't let your own self-doubt overtake. And finally, visualization. This is such an easy way to see your goals in the flesh. Now, I don't want you to just scroll on Pinterest and pick the first 10 pictures that show up on your feed, or even to go on TikTok and just use someone else's vision board that they've created for themselves. I want you to take this mind map that you have created, and I want you to be very specific in the images that you choose. For example, if one of your goals is to work on your hobbies more, specifically what hobbies? If it's painting or knitting, then try and find photos of that. It sounds so easy, but getting the right photos is super important to help you visualize your goals. I hope this video was helpful to give you a different perspective on how to set goals. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!